welcome back. This is Synergy Bonus. Yourself. Not touching you. Okay. We are, rub the buzzcut guy's head for good luck.
It's like the fat guy's belly.
Buddha. I expected to see you start tapping your stomach.
Anyhow, as it were not evident, we're a bunch of guys that like to drink and talk about gaming, and tonight we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be getting, what do we want to call it, like a segment or more like a mini?
They're going to be like little mini things of our tabletop misadventures. We've dubbed war stories.
Misadventures and war stories that as gamers over the years.
Kind of mentioned over the last few videos. Sometimes we talk about war stories.
And we figured that a good place to start. These are going to be a slightly shorter segment that we'll just toss out here and there when we have a good story, something that makes us laugh, something that we hope makes you laugh.
Something that makes me slam my head in the table.
Which makes us laugh.
Right.
Now, and we figured the good place to start would be actually where we came up with the whole synergy theme for our Team Synergy.
I came up with Synergy Bonus.
No, he came up with Synergy Bonus for the title, but the whole Synergy spiel.
Yeah, our sister station, Cinema Synergy, the whole Team Synergy thing, kind of actually originates with a game of Shadowrun that we were playing.
So technically, yes, he did create it too, but it...
And Greg was game mastering, so in that respect, Greg is responsible for all of this.
I'm so sorry.
You owe the entire internet an apology.
I thought I owed humanity an apology.
There's no humanity on the internet, Greg.
No. I was extrapolating beyond the internet.
So, did you mention that this came from a Shadowrun game?
I did.
All right. So, yes.
What are we doing, 5th edition?
Yes, this is 5th edition. I started out just running a module that was a 4th edition, beginning of 4th edition adventure that I just updated and fudged numbers.
And it started out fairly serious, black trench coat.
Yeah.
And
that was my hope.
Spiraled down the drain.
Pinkest of mohawks.
Yeah. Because we had this one guy show up. Preston Argyle.
Shadowrunner.
Has business cards that actually state
Preston
Argyle, Shadowrunner.
Anyways.
Not just in character. This was a prop that was actually made and brought to the table.
It's a fantastic prop. So, as Trav mentioned, Greg was GMing this game, and both Trav and myself were characters in this game. I played a dwarf sniper named TC.
Top Cat.
Thomas Chase was his real name, but he went as the chameleon because he had this very stealth thing to him. And then he met Preston Argyle.
He also had the Ruthium sheath installed on him where he can cloak.
Yep.
Gecko gloves. He was climbing over it.
I did. I had those. And then you were playing a...
Spade.
Occult investigator. I didn't have a good idea for this, so I actually just ripped one of the pre-mades out of the book. That's a terrible idea. Never do that. They look great on paper, but they're so unbalanced.
They don't even look great on paper if you're actually familiar with the system. Whenever you look at one of the iconic characters or archetypes they put in the book, there is always a massive glaring weakness with every single one. Like the weapon specialist doesn't have high enough skills to be really good, and they only have 1 initiative pass, so in a combat situation, they're screwed.
Guess who's the munchkin?
Or that, just I'm rather well versed in the system. It's a game about specialization.
Potato.
So,
well, we turned it into a game about doing Nova Coke off of dead hookers.
And also killing hookers in the shower when the module says there is nothing the party can do now except call the cops.
Okay. So now we're going to tell you...
clearly underestimated the party.
We're going to tell you about Preston Argyle, Shadowrunner now.
He used to be a bodyguard working for someone in the Zurich Orbital Gemeinschaft space station until I forget.
Like I said, TC is this very serious, very tactical dwarf. He's all done up like that. I've got this sort of raggedy Sam Spade film noir thing going on. In walks this Preston.
Page boy haircut, boy shorts, robot arms.
Giant cybernetic arms.
And like a yuppie sweater.
No, the yuppie sweater was tied around his neck over like a muscle t-shirt.
Katana and a freaking 4-barreled machine pistol.
Giant monofilament katana and a 4-barrel machine pistol.
Still gonna just
grab
The
this
something Sakura Fukibaki.
with a giant Centauri sour in one
Yes.
hand.
Preston Argyle's
Signature drink.
signature drink is Centauri whiskey made up as a sour.
We'll post a recipe down below. Just
It's Centauri
We won't.
whiskey and sour mix.
you get like a balance you had. We're working out.
It's done to taste.
1.5 to 3.5.
Or we won't post because just pause it there and play it back slowly.
So
anyhow, we are a couple sessions into this game, and we get some downtime to work on our characters and replenish our whatever it is we need. Bullets,
Drugs.
magical focuses. And
Kill people so you can get money, so you can buy drugs, so you can get better at killing people.
that came later. This is the beginning of all that because...
Shadowrun in a nutshell.
Yeah. Somewhere in the middle of all this, as I'm nursing my mild alcoholism, and our hacker is working on his equipment. TC starts working on improving our transportation.
And going off that, I had a battle van. I had so much money and whatnot.
He built the turtle van.
I basically had the turtle van. And
So my entire thing has been just fuck with his ride because that pisses him off.
And the thing is, I was basically a squatter at this point, just living in the van. And Preston's like,
Come over to my place.
come over to my place. We can watch samurai movies and drink Centauri sours. And apparently do drugs.
Randomly, I don't remember how this came about. They got this big bag of random drugs.
That's because Dr. Jones has a contact, and his specialty is bag of drugs, where I just roll a couple of dice on the...
Well, somehow Preston wound up
The grab
with
bag.
So when TC showed up to watch samurai movies and drink Centauri sours, they reached into the grab bag and pulled out like an asthma inhaler full of a drug called kamikaze. Can you tell us what that is?
Kamikaze is the Shadowrun equivalency of Psycho in Fallout, where it's a combat stimulant that in the early stages was permanently addictive, and you went into a berserk state and you didn't know. No, that's canine.
It's canine.
AKA, get some motherfucker.
Yeah, but basically it makes you... My core's here, isn't it?
Somewhere.
Maybe not. I don't know.
That's it.
I haven't seen it.
No, it's at my
The
apartment.
short version is it's an amphetamine.
It's an amphetamine-based stimulant that puts you into a psychotic rage and jacks your physical capabilities up, and also gives you immunity to pain on lower levels.
So, this is in downtime. This isn't even the session. It's
like, what are you doing before the session
Before
starts?
the session starts.
30 minutes of this.
So, we split this inhaler of kamikaze, and what ensued afterwards is just pure
chaos,
and which has been dubbed synergy. So, if you would.
They're sitting there, they're role-playing their newfound
I need more beer.
hyper-energetic highs. And Preston, out of nowhere, goes, I need to karate fight a bear. Right now. TC's like, we're in the middle of Seattle. Where the hell are we going to find a bear?
Zoo.
The zoo!
So, we leave his apartment.
And he gets the wonderful idea that
I'm going to rip this fire hydrant out of the ground.
And he's got the cybernetic arm, so he has the enhanced strength to do it.
Did he rip it out?
Yeah, he ripped it out without any problem
like,
because
I'm
I
gonna throw
set a
this-
threshold, I think 5, 6.
Yeah.
Because he was just that fucking strong.
And then he decided he was going to shot put this fire hydrant into the median on the highway in front of his loft. Failed to do that.
He got it maybe to go like 2 feet.
Yeah.
So,
But at this point, because one of his neighbors just witnessed this dude with robot arms, probably on drugs,
Definitely on drugs.
definitely.
screaming about fighting a bear and ripping a fire hydrant out, they called the cops and hit a panic button.
Naturally, it takes a few minutes for the cops, or Knight Errant, is it?
Night Errant at this point.
Knight Errant to this point to
Show
arrive.
up. Because it's the Barons.
And in the meantime, these guys are like, there's no bears here. We gotta move on. So they
So-
load up into the battle van.
The battle van, and I start taking off down the road.
And he's apparently conscientious enough as a driver that they don't pull him over or suspect anything.
No. Well, you guys got out of there just before the cops
He
showed up.
left before Knight Errant was able to get there. Only to be pulled over a few miles
While
away.
on interstate, whatever the fuck it
Or
is.
interstate, whatever. Yeah. by another unrelated police officer because he's speeding. And this poor
female elf with a buzz cut.
Oh, jeez. Officer Laura Penance. Laura Penance. It's a female elf with the standard douchebag cop buzz cut. Comes over and demands TC's license and registration. TC is still out of his mind on drugs and sees a police officer. So he grabs her by the head and pulls her.
No.
Preston grabs her by the head
did
and pulls her through the window into the car. TC just floors it out. And we had a moment where we actually started writing down quotes from this scenario, and Preston announces,
he puts her in a headlock.
Headlock to keep her in control. It would be very simple for me to flex my robot arm and fucking snap her neck, but then we'd have to clean the battle van.
Cleaning the battle van has become a standard thing because
really
I like
standard.
to screw with the van.
And hence avoiding any extraneous cleaning.
As we're barreling down the thruway now,
She manages to get her hand down onto her equipment belt, which she had a canister of glue sprayer, riot foam, which in Shadowrun, it's basically riot foam, but it hardens in about 10 seconds, and she sprays
Preston
right in the face so he would start asphyxiating.
so
Not counting on his robot arms, he goes up and he tears the foam as well as most of his face off. Screams,
this isn't synergy.
"Fucking foamed me! This isn't synergy! This is not synergy!"
Knocks her out. Oh no, she jumps out of the frickin'...
This whole time, what's going on is there's a running monologue from Preston where he is lecturing this young and impressionable dwarf about what exactly this vague term synergy means, and he's trying to explain it.
1 + 1 is 3.
You and me, synergy.
And things like pulling the cop through the car window, synergy.
Synergy.
Getting foamed by the cop, not synergy.
So
Synergy is basically, this is awesome.
So we make it to the
You make it to the
zoo,
and they just come into the parking lot doing 90 miles an hour.
So as we're pulling to a stop, she bails.
No.
Doesn't she? No?
No. She does not bail. Preston's like, "Oh, we're here," and throws her out of the still moving car. And she hits the pavement doing 90 miles an hour, and it knocks her completely out. I'm sure it did a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, it did. She took enough stun damage to actually put her in the physical track.
Yeah, so she's...
Because she
messed
actually
up.
was a motorcycle cop, so she had riding leathers on.
And
Had.
TC here goes, or after he screeches the van to a halt, goes, "Oh, I should go see if she's okay." Runs out, grabs her, drags her, and throws her back in the van. At this point, for reasons I don't entirely
I don't
understand,
even remember.
I think you were checking her for injuries to make sure she was alright, and then decided to start scavenging gear.
He stripped her down to her underwear, left her in basically the SS date rape van.
No, did not leave her in the van.
No.
Because at this point, Preston comes over, slings the cop over his shoulder with a hand on one ass cheek, and walks up to the ticket seller
That's right.
at the park. The park, aware that there's some maniac out there kidnapping cops and ripping up fire hydrants, sees him coming and has just seen the violence in the parking lot.
Initiates
lockdown. Zoo goes into a complete lockdown.
Gotta keep the Venezuelans from eating the animals.
There's too soon. There's sheet metal and stuff keeping him from talking to...
Sheet metal, it's actually the security grade.
Security grade. That's the term I was looking for. Keeping him from talking to tickets and all that. Preston decides this is rude. So he turns around and accosts a little old lady who's scurrying out of the park trying to get away
Little
from
Asian
whatever's
lady.
going on.
Little Asian woman. Because
Asian
for whatever
woman.
reason, I need someone who's a minority. I just immediately go Asian.
Seattle.
It's Shadowrun.
Shadowrun. And he starts going off on this monologue right up in this little old lady's face about how rude this is and, that they should really do something about their customer service.
And she pisses
Bear
herself.
in mind, Preston is 6.5 feet tall, giant robot arms, and has an apparently dead woman slung over his shoulder.
Who he's holding by the ass
And
cheek.
he's speaking at 1,000,000 miles an hour from the kamikaze. The woman voids her bladder,
Screams and runs.
screams and runs. Now, at some point during all of this chase, after the
Riot Squad starts showing up.
after the cop has been picked up, our team hacker got dialed in.
Yeah, I called the
dwarf
hacker.
called him to say that they were going to the zoo to karate fight a bear. It was going to be awesome, and he should show up.
And he starts live streaming the entire thing.
And locking
TC
it.
goes to live stream the whole thing. I think he glitched his roll and
Yep,
locked
the
the
computer
live
check.
stream.
So it's just constantly going.
So it's just constantly going, and the hacker's trying desperately to fix this and find you guys a way out. And
Because, hey, it turns out Lone Star's about to send a riot detachment in to detain you, go into the sewers.
and they start to come down.
2 days after they've been lost in the sewers.
And they escape into the sewer before Lone Star shows up and get lost underground in the sewers for 2 days, which is not synergy.
The smells were not synergy.
And then...
And that's...
And downtime.
And that was the end of
That was the end of
downtime.
downtime.
And
Then
that
the
is how
mission-
synergy was really born.
Then we actually started the game session for that night.
I need more nicotine now.
So,
Or something a lot stronger than that shandy.
as you can see, like, just
Raw,
the
creative.
frustration just radiating off Greg
You can't
right now
quite see
as
it.
a GM.
You can't quite see it behind his hands there, but his nostrils are definitely flared.
I was going for a black trench coat game.
And then Preston happened, and this was a year ago.
And then it was just like, okay, we can go with the Mirrored Shades game. We can go with the Mirrored Shade games. Like a little bit pink mohawk, but then serious black trench coat. Nope, fuck it. Pinkest of mohawks.
Pinkest of mohawks leading
Most
up to...
neon day glow mohawk troll wearing frickin'
Fishnets.
BDSM leather boy pants, assless chaps, walking around with an automatic weapon in downtown Bellevue. That's how pink mohawk we've gone.
And this is before we decided that there was, or before the lacrosse incident, and the fact that
We're getting
We're getting
to the
there.
lacrosse incident.
and when we decided that we were going to sprint all the way to Monroe.
On Novacoke.
On Nova
So,
And then
Snohomish.
because no one thought, hey, it's in Monroe, Salis-Shade, let's go and see how far this is. Oh, it's 15 to 20 miles away from Seattle.
that'll be for another
That'll be
day.
another day. That's another war story for another
And
day.
we hope you enjoyed this. I would love to hear your war stories,
Yeah.
your crazy stuff if you played Shadowrun, or any tabletop in general.
This
Or
will
if
be
you're a-
continued in part 2, trust me.
Or if you're a
will be
dungeon
continued.
master of any sort who's had to put up with this kind of nonsense, we'd love to hear about it.
Exactly. So,
Part
with
of
that-
me wants to go and hit them with a Lone Star Strike team. The other part of me is amused.
That's how you're going to wind up with a whole bunch of dead Lone Star agents. You're aware of this, right?
Oh, no, you forget when I start using actual tactics and squad-based warfare, you guys die real quick.
Yeah.
And with that,
I don't forget. I just don't fear it.
with that, we'll see you next time, and stay tuned for our further war stories.